What does family mean to you? I'm an only child, so I grew up without the knockabout experience of brothers and sisters that many of you might have enjoyed or experienced. And I remember listening to the radio as a child, and people would write into the radio station saying, please can you help me find my long lost brother? I've not seen him for 40 years. And I remember thinking, how on earth can you lose touch with your brother? Of course, now I know how these things happen. My mother was the youngest of 3 sisters, and she used to talk about the days when they would have strawberries for tea, and she had to eat hers as quickly as she could, or else her sisters would try to pinch the strawberries from her plate. Families, eh? Our pilgrim songwriter is writing about the people he's meeting on the road as he travels. We imagine him travelling to Jerusalem for one of the great religious feasts and festivals of the day. And as he gets nearer the city and the roads converge on Jerusalem and on the temple, the roads get busier and busier. The crowd is building. And so he becomes part of this crowd that's heading to Jerusalem for the feast. They're all heading in the same direction. They're all going there for worship. And he has this sense of being part of this crowd, and it's a good feeling. He writes about the sense of unity that this crowd has, that they're all heading in the same direction for the same reason, all going to worship God, and they have a sense of unity about them, that this is a good thing to do, and that they belong together as they go to worship God. And not only do they belong together, but they have a sense that God is blessing them as they do this together. And how good is that sense of togetherness and community in their faith as they travel. But we all know that families can be anything but united. There can be fallings out, and these can be awful things. And families don't speak to each other for a long, long time because of fallings out. And we all know too that church can be the same. There can be times when there are fallings out in church, and where churches are anything but united. People who have a word spoken out of place to them and they take umbrage and they storm off, leaving everybody very aware of how angry they are, or there are people who just don't get on with each other. Because this sense of family unity doesn't happen automatically. It takes hard work on our part to make it happen. A sense of love and acceptance of one another, a sense of grace and forgiveness towards each other are at the heart of trying to make this sense of family unity work. We're all part of community, whether it's a family, whether it's church, whether it's the community of the people who live in your street. We're all part of community. We've said during lockdown that we're all in this together, although I begin to think that maybe we're forgetting that now, and not having quite the same sense of community that we had maybe 15 months ago. But we're part of community. We've talked for a while in our church about church as a family, and we belong together, we care for one another, we support one another. We worship together because worship at its best is a community thing. We pray together, we eat together. And some of these things have been denied to us for the 15 months of lockdown, and we're not quite sure how they'll be in the future. But we do things together. We celebrate the sense of being a church family, and we're always conscious that we need to work hard at loving and caring for one another and supporting one another. We know, however, that this is a good thing. It's a precious thing. It's a way in which God blesses the world through a church family that is united and that is loving and caring for one another. It's a precious thing. We need to work at it. And when we do find it, we also discover that God is at work there, and God will bless the world through us.